All right. Hey, welcome. This is what I got going on today. So I just got back from the coast and loaded up this driftwood. I've got some really heavy pieces. A lot of you have questions about how do you prepare your driftwood before you actually do any of your sculpting or any of your art. This is basically it. I'm pulling these pieces from the beach into the truck, bring them here. I sand, but I don't get geeked out over all of it. So when I'm just gonna unload these, you'll see the different pieces, and over the next year, these are gonna be the pieces that I work on. I'm sure I'll find some other ones along the way, but that's kind of how this works. So y'all hang out, say hello, let me know where you're at in the world. I'll get you set up right here. And then we're gonna start unloading this stuff, and you tell me what pieces look cool and which maybe you'd like to see me work on. Just leave those in the comments and I'll make sure and take a look at those comments later after I unload this stuff. This one right here almost killed me unloading this thing. Let me show you. Love this. Yeah. Big piece of driftwood right there. Massive, massive piece. That's gonna be a fun project for sure. So let's start there, shall we? I'm gonna need gloves on this one. Gorgeous day out here though. This looks like a piece of pecan, but I'm not sure. Oh. Maybe. About to tear off my tailgate. Okay. It's tearing off my tailgate, damn it. Yeah. I'm recording. That's Carol.
Oh no.
That one's got a huge split in it, but I usually fill that in with some resin. This is, I believe, a piece of pecan, but I'm not sure. That's a really cool piece. And I got some smaller stuff in here as well. You know, just little pieces like this. But I like that plank, right? See how it's kind of squared up? And whether that was part of an old bridge or who knows. These can make some really cool pieces because it's super flat You don't have to do a lot of work. You just clean up the back side of these, you know, and you can use that as a wall sconce, create some kind of a steampunk looking light, and then boom, this goes on the wall. Simple, simple. That's a good project for that one. This one, that pecan piece, I don't know. You know, you never know until you start working in them. But like I can imagine just tearing this down with a grinder, getting that bark off, exposing the natural wood underneath it. It's nice. It's real hard, but exposing that wood underneath it and then coming back and maybe you make some designs in this. I don't know. It's super heavy, but yeah, that's a lot. Oh God, that is a lot. But you see the backside. It looks like maybe this piece got burnt at one time, which they do a lot down there on the coast to clean up the beach, especially after all the July storms. All that floats down the Brazos and then and the Colorado and the Mississippi, and it all just spills out into the beach, into the Gulf. But this is an incredible looking piece. I'd like to see if I can do a custom piece for somebody. If they've got the house for it, this would be a great piece. We have to have a pretty decent sized house. Yeah, sand, lots of sand. Another cool piece. So you get the idea, right? This is what I'm going to be working on over the next year. So here they are in raw form. Here's another example of that plank, right? So that one piece that I just showed, and then this one, again, looks like a 2x6. It has a nail in it, so maybe this was part of a construction piece. I don't know. But these make simple projects. Again, wall sconce, or just the table, a base of a lamp. I don't know. I've seen some really cool creative stuff. That's really not my jam, but you know, you've got to make some pieces that are marketable and sellable. Not just art. Art's what I like to do, but these are practical pieces. Again, you can get the idea. If you put, you know, you get something like this together. Again, this piece hanging on a wall. This is a lamp or whatever. Really cool pieces. And you've seen me work with a lot of bark. So I like to take, whenever I can find a piece that's just the outside bark piece. I've got one right here. Let me show you. These are fun to work on. Again, this has got all kind of sand on it. But I picked this up yesterday. So these are simple pieces. But once you get it carved down with a grinder, these can be just incredible little wall art just hanging. Granted, it wouldn't look just like this, but that doesn't take a whole lot of skill. You just have to have a grinder and a sander. Tongue oil, beeswax, whatever you want to put on it, right? I'm trying to get to that piece. This one's another monster. Here's one. Yeah. See how thin that is? So this does not take a whole lot. Matter of fact, you could probably use a 40 grit sandpaper to get this cleaned up. And then you turn it around here and it's got that nice whitewash. This bark would pop off really good. And then once you put some beeswax on there, this sucker cleans up. You just hang that on a wall. Again, this is probably anybody who's starting into this woodworking journey with driftwood or plank wood. this is where I always try to tell them to start, is start on these easy, if you can find the pieces, right? Wait till you get a little bit more experience before you start messing with this kind of guy. This thing weighs probably 300 pounds, I would think. So start here if you're new. So there's another one. And then I've got a couple more like that. I think one right here. Let me show you again. See, super thin. You can about see how tall it is, right? Nothing really super impressive, but once you start sanding on it and you get this thing smoothed out in the back, these just make a real, you can kind of curve this when sanding to where it's not broken. Just kind of curve this down, make it a little bit more softer on the edge. Same here. I'm not saying that you would manipulate it to where it's completely round, but to where it's just doesn't look like this L is missing out of here. So this is also, again, my niece actually, Maddie, is wanting a piece for her baby's room, and I think this would actually look pretty cool. One of these flat pieces is gonna look cool in the nursery. So I had her in mind when I was looking for these pieces, you know. So, all right, so I've unloaded enough. Then what I do is I just take these, again, I don't go through some massive process of power washing. This is from the beach. When I take pieces from the lake, I'll power wash those because they have algae all over them, and it's that algae gets nasty over time. Anyway, it's nasty anyway, but I'll just brush these off with just a stiff broom. I won't even use an air compressor. A lot of people are asking about, well, what about, you know, because I talk about wormholes being in the wood, and people ask, well, do you ever disinfect the wood? I mean, no, I don't. But look, there may be bacteria in here, possibly. I'm sure there is, but if there's any wormholes in here, those wormholes were there when the tree was alive or in the process of dying, which is probably one of the reasons why it died, because it was just an unhealthy tree. But once I hit this with a grinder and once I hit it with a sander, there's not any dang wormhole. There's no worms in here. I say wormholes because that's what I call them. It could be just a woodpecker. I don't know. But no, I don't bleach these. You know, I know there's a whole process of bleaching. If you're like for an aquarium, like if you have iguanas or some type of reptiles, I don't use the bleach on any of these pieces, and I don't use the power washer on these. These have been soaking in water and they're still soft. You can see I'm just kind of peeling that stuff off, right? So there's that one. Let's see. Grab this guy. Not too bad. But it's similar to that piece right there. Oh, I saw a comment, but I just lost you. Let's see. Hold on a minute. I really struggle going live. I really do, because I lose sight of the comments. The comments pop up, but then they go away so quickly. It's hard for me to see. Sorry about that. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm doing this all wrong. I don't know. So let's get a brush. I got a brush right here. Yeah, so, and this one's not that stiff, but look, I'll just brush as much sand off as I can. I'm not trying to clean it, but I don't want that sand all over the place. But for me to get all of it out of there, that's not gonna happen. I mean, it will once I finish the piece. I mean, once I've done the grinder and the sander, you know, any of those little bitty holes that have sand in it, I'm blowing that out with a compressor, but we're not at that stage of the game. All right, so that's basically it. Nice, quick. You can kind of just see just the pieces that I get. I didn't really find a whole lot of twisted pieces, like root balls or anything like that. Those are awesome when you find them. I don't see that a lot at the beach, but I see it more by the river, maybe at the lake. But these are pieces that I can visually see me doing something with. So that's why I like this tile. I'm gonna use them upright, right? Like this guy. I mean, this is like a half of a, hold on, let me move it so you can see it. Oh, so you can see, right? It's like a half of a tree, some kind of a tree. Tons of sand on this thing. It's got a crack down here, a pretty good one, but I can fill that in with resin, so that's not an issue. And then, you know, I can make some type of useful coat rack or hat rack. I've made some killer hat racks out of these pieces. Hey, thanks, Thea. See, I just saw it. See, if I pay attention and look at this, I can see your comments, so that's cool. But see, now it just faded off of my phone. So maybe I'm supposed to have my laptop going, my laptop going while I'm filming. But I do all my filming on my iPhone. This is all iPhone, so it's just hard. So if I miss your comment, I'm sorry. I'm pretty good about responding. I try to be. Yeah, so this is a cool piece. Hold on. And I don't know if you can see that crack. See right here. This is a pretty significant crack down here too. But anyway, that's not going to be an issue. And it's definitely not an issue today because I'm not messing with it. Here is a cool piece. So this is something that can be zoom in. Okay, hold on a minute. So this is another cool piece. I'll take the phone off of the tripod here in a second, and we'll get in here and look at some of the details. This is part of an old railroad tie. Railroad ties have been soaked in creosote, so I typically don't work with them at all. But on occasion, you find one that's been floating in the salt water and been in the sun long enough, doesn't have that nasty smell. These can actually make some pretty cool lamps. So let me show you. Yeah, right, me too. You can, if you were to put a base on this thing, this would be the back. You can put a cool light right in here, a little Edison bulb, right? Get this sucker cleaned up, and it, talk about some shadows. This thing puts some really cool shadows as a lamp. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get a little closer for you. Take these gloves off. It's not exactly fall weather in Central Texas. We're sitting at about 87 degrees. I wouldn't call that fall, but I'll take it because it's not 95. Okay, here we go. So here's that taller piece. Yeah, pretty big crack, but I like the white that's in there. That's really cool. Very, very hard wood versus, let's see, versus this, where I've got some softer woods here, right? And again, I can just peel this off with my thumb, but that's okay because I'm gonna take all of that off when I finish it. So I'm not worried about that. It'll clean up. It may not clean up the way you want it, but it'll clean up. this is that's also a piece, I believe, of pecan right here. This piece. Yeah, this one's pretty phenomenal. And with these, because it's so pitted and there's so, I mean, the cool thing about this piece is the detail of all the different grooves. So I don't want to get rid of that. I may end up cutting this and getting it flat to where I can mount it up. Because some of it's a little nasty, but you get the general idea. And then another big flat piece in here. Oh God. And this guy, hold on. Okay, where is he? This one right here. That's all one piece. Oh. Needless to say, I've got my hands full on some of those pieces. Can't wait to see what, yeah. Yeah, me too. I wish I'd do it full time, but I got that thing everybody calls a job. I happen to love my job, but it's not my passion, right? That's what I do. It's not who I am. Can't let things define us like that, right? So, me, the rest of this is just gonna be me cleaning up. And I'll leave this on just for a little while I'm doing that, but I'll try to cut down the dialogue. And if you're sitting back with a glass of iced tea or a nice beverage, you can just watch me unload the truck. Cool, very good. Gotta stay hydrated, right? Actually, and all of these have to go back into the shop too. So if you know, I keep all of my pieces in our old greenhouse. I don't do any of the work in there because there's just not any room, and it's very hot, but it's a great place to store the wood, so that works. And this one is just full of sand. Which is fine. All good. Somebody's grilling in the neighborhood. I smell it. Pretty good, it is. Yeah, cool piece right there. Lightweight. Easy beginner project. Again, here's a longer one, but so it's got this flat backside like this. I try to cut this down to where it's fairly smooth on the backside, and then that way I'm working on the front side. And once I get it cleaned up, if you mount maybe some railroad spikes or some type of hook that looks pretty industrial, this makes a killer hat rack, coat rack, entryway piece. I've got 3 or 4 of these that I've done, and I've gotten more compliments on that than just about any of my other work. Maybe that's telling me something, but I don't want to just... I hate to get into a situation where that's all you were known for, or that's all you do is, oh yeah, the hat rack guy or the coat rack. No, I don't want to be boxed in that way. That's why people are always asking if I go to the market, use the other side as the front. This side? The flat side? This side is the front, or this side is the front? I didn't see what you said. Oh, the other side, this here, yeah. I know, and you know, what I say I'm gonna do with these pieces versus what happens when I start hacking on them can be very different. And sometimes I don't know at all until I start working with the wood a little bit, and then you start seeing, I won't say you see shapes, but you have a vision of how you want it to be. So those are always cool. The flat side, yeah. Well, this one is in the future, so I'm trying to get to this one. Let's see. Yeah, this piece right here is killer. And it's lighter, but it's huge. That one in a second. Yeah, this guy is really cool. You see, can you see this one? That's another pretty significant piece, actually. That one out there as well. And here's this one. Again, this is another piece of bark. I say bark, but it's a slab. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. Yeah, that's a big slab. I'll show you that one here in a second. This one, I can't move that one right now. Let me get out of this truck. Okay. Yeah, this guy. Okay. Let me show you here. Working this down. Yeah. So, real knotted up right in here. Carved out. It's lightweight. I don't know, maybe 4 inches thick right there. This is definitely pine. I can tell by the bark. The bark's definitely pine. That's the cool thing about, yeah, I mean, I guess it could be anywhere, but I don't know if that piece is from Texas or if it came through Missouri or just, I have no idea where this wood came from or what kind of wood it is. Yeah, I think so. Actually, maybe not white, maybe a yellow pine. I know out in Texas we got a lot of pine, and then have some pine in the Bastrop area. It's kind of south of Austin. You'll find a lot of pine. So that's it. That's all I got today. I know, it is. I love it. Oh, Carol, my wife, and I were, as soon as we pulled at the beach yesterday, it was nothing but, and I did a quick short that I released yesterday at the beach because the amount of driftwood that was on the beach as well as on the sand dunes were crazy. So anyway, listen, y'all have a blessed Sunday. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and peace be with you. We'll see you soon.